Well, hi there. I thought that I would celebrate King Charles's coronation on the 6th of May, which is a Saturday. I think it all begins at about 11 a.m. with a cocktail. I haven't done one of these for a bit, and you seem to really like the last one. And I think I've made this up, actually. And I'm sure there's going to be loads of people going, no, it's been done before. Well, let me tell you, I didn't know this was a thing. So if it is a thing, then whoever had the idea because it's a brilliant idea. But I was trying to think to myself, like, what's really British? What would you like to drink at 11 a.m. in the morning? And I thought, well, obviously Bucks Fizz or a mimosa, whatever you want to call it, which is normally champagne and orange juice. So that's good. That feels like a good way to start your day. So I thought, what would make that sort of very British? And what do we love in the mornings? We love marmalade on toast. So I thought, what about adding a bit of marmalade to your Bucks Fizz and making a marmalade Bucks Fizz? It's really good. So what you need to do is you need to get yourself a jar of marmalade and you need to get yourself a cocktail shaker. If you've got a cocktail shaker, you need to have one that's got like a sievie thing. I think most of them do, but weirdly, when I opened my other one earlier, my nicer one than this, it didn't have that. So make sure it's got one of those because that's quite important. So, ingredients, you need Prosecco or champagne, if you're being very flash. Cointreau, which is like an orange liqueur, oranges, marmalade, and that's it. And then you just need your equipment and gubbins, which I'll write down somewhere. So, cocktail shaker, marmalade. This is to make 1 teaspoon of marmalade. Pop in. Then you need to get yourself, doesn't that one on the telly, does it? Nothing to see here. What I'll do there is I'll leave that there and I'll just grab myself another clean spoon because that's been on the floor. Then I'll get myself a Cointreau and I think a shot of Cointreau. I normally don't like to measure, but as it's breakfast, I think it's probably safer to measure. This is going to pack a punch. I mean, this is a shot of Cointreau and Prosecco in the morning. So, but it's the King's coronation. We're celebrating. Mix this up. So this will be like lumpy, but the alcohol in the Cointreau will, you kind of end up with like that. So you get like a syrupy liquid, basically. So melt that down as much as you can, just give it a good stir. And then into this, obviously with Bucks Fizz, you have orange juice. Now you could just at this point just pour some ready-made orange juice, but I think there's something nice about having fresh. Now when you get your orange, give it a little roll, because that also makes it juicier. Top tip, I do that with my limes when I'm making a margarita. And before you cut it, get yourself one of these. It's like a potato peeler. And just take a big chunk off the side, right? Because that is your garnish for later. That's what's going to make it look ever so posh. So you're looking for something that looks like that. Look, it hasn't got much pith because the pith makes it very bitter. So cut orange in half. Now I use a orange squeezer. It's like a bra. To squeeze mine. Just because I've had it, but you don't have to use this. You can obviously just squeeze it by hand or stick a fork in it and split it, but I think this is quite a good way of getting out all the juice. And the other thing I like about these things is it does actually squeeze the rindy bit, and there's loads of oils in that, so I think that does add to the flavour actually. Get rid of that, do the other side. So now you've got all your orange and loveliness. And then you can put your lid on carefully and your other lid carefully and give it a good shake. Shake that all up. Now, glass-wise, I quite like, I know that this is actually apparently a sweet wine glass, but it is a sweet, it's lovely wine, sweet wine glass. But I quite like it for this shape. So I'm going to, you could just do it in a flute or anything really. Now this is quite thick, so you might have to do this a couple of times. because all the bits get stuck. You can really smell it. It's like, oh, it's good, it's good, it's good. Like it's sweet but not too sweet, because marmalade's got that sort of bitter flavour, hasn't it? Oh, I'm sure that's all out. I was going to check, but I won't bother because I can't open it. Right, so that is your basis. You can see at the bottom there, you've got all the lovely bits of marmalade and that flavour. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? I keep dropping everything. This is when you get your Prosecco or champagne. I've got Prosecco here. This is cold, straight from the fridge, which is good because you don't want to put any ice in this. You don't want to like dilute it. So make sure your Prosecco is nice and cold from the fridge. Why do I feel like something's going to go horribly? Favourite noise in the world. Close second by this noise. Wow, I thought it was going to glug more than sound like somebody actually having a wee. So I'm going to pour it up to there. And then I'm just going to give that a little bit of a stir. And then for garnish, do you remember we got this little guy earlier? So what I'm going to do with this, now this is fancy. Where's my lighter that I had here earlier? There it is, dropped on the floor. There's a surprise. Oh my gosh. It's totally broken. Oh my God, it's all over the floor. Right, let's ignore that. And we got, and as if by magic, another lighter. So what you want to do with this, because this is all full of lovely oils, you want to warm it up a little bit. Be very careful when you're doing this, right? And then, I think you're supposed to be able to like spray it. Well, that worked better than I thought it was going to. And the oils burn. God, that sounds amazing. Ready? Let's try it again. And then you wipe that around the rim. And then when you take your first sip, you're going to have that glorious orangey flavour. And then if you're really posh, and we are coronating a king today, so we can be a bit posh, you twist, and then you dunk. And then you say, good health and happiness to King Charles. Cheers. Oh, you've got to come in like that. I can't see you. Ready? Come in. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers, cheers, cheers. How good is that?
So good.
That's the thing, isn't it? Cheers. God, I love that. Really good.